So all the way back in like August, even before some of the major transfers, I did some Premier League predictions. I think it's time we now review some of those predictions, and if you do remember, there was another person who featured in that video. So I think it's time we call them.
There he is.
Where the f*** have you been? You know it's that time of year, YouTubers all across the globe revisiting their Premier League predictions and questioning what the hell they were thinking. I did my predictions in a collab with a fellow YouTuber in BCHD, so we're gonna find out together who had the better Premier League predictions. The point system is pretty simple. 2 points if we're right on the money, 1 point if we're one position off, and 0 with everything else. Be sure to check out Brandon's channel, by the way. He's got some great content lining up, and another reason why you should visit his channel is because he's Italian. Imagine not qualifying for the World Cup 2 straight times. So 20th, I went with Watford, pretty close to where they actually finished, which was 19th.
Well, I thought Watford came 20th. I thought I was going to be like, oh, I'm starting this prediction off right. Look at me. I'm like the prediction god, but no, they came 19th. I had them 20th as well.
Shout out Elton John.
And Pride Month as well.
Yeah, at time. Fellas, have you ever heard of OneFootball? No? Well, let me tell you then. I've been using OneFootball since 2017 when I was a wee little sophomore, so trust me when I say this is the best app for football news and results. Follow your favorite clubs and national teams and know exactly when they're playing based on your time zone. You can even get live feeds for matches you couldn't watch at home. Sick of that pesky manager not performing? Well, luckily for you, OneFootball will make sure you're the first person to know when he's sacked. All you have to do is turn on notifications and boom, all the latest news for your club or even national team. I personally love this app because I can follow any and all leagues and competitions that I'm interested in. So that way I know all the future matchups coming up and maybe I can watch some and plan ahead. I can review all the results and even the stats of every single match that has been played and even the league table. And remember, this is all accessible on just one single app. And with OneFootball, you can even follow players. You can now also watch game highlights and even stream some matches live all across the world. And the best part about all of this, the app is completely free. So drop everything you're doing right now, click the link in the description, and download OneFootball to absolutely transcend your footballing experiences.
We got the first major complete up. But I got a bit of context behind this one because at the time, August 8th, it was a month after the Euros just finished, and kind of had a little bit of a hate boner for Patrick Vieira. For some reason, like, I wanted him to fail at all costs, and he definitely did prove me wrong.
So my 19th was Norwich City. So it was just the old switcheroo. Oh. Who actually expected Norwich to stay up? I didn't. Brandon, did you? Wait, hold on. Brandon, did you?
We'll find out.
I actually feel bad for the Norwich supporters because they have to watch this team day in, day out. Teemu Pukki is about the only redeeming quality of this team.
Yeah, but mate, you get a promotion party every year. You just go back down to the championship, win a game every week, and start the roller coaster all over again.
At that point, you know,
I wouldn't mind it.
Do the promotion parties just get, I don't know, a little meaningless? My 18th place was Newcastle United.
Oh, this is your big oopsie.
It was a big oopsie, don't get me wrong, alright? But listen, if we just take, like, I know this is like an ESPN type thing to do, but if you just take, like, the first half of the season, they literally won just one game and also weren't backed by the Saudi Public Investment Fund, okay? But you know what? Fine. You know, Newcastle, credit to them. If we take just that second half of the season, they're literally third in the league. So fair enough.
And if my grandmother had wheels, she'd be a bike, bro. So, well, after Mackwell takes L after L,
that's my first L. What?
Hey,
that's my first L. Hey, wait, hold. This is slander. Defamation of character.
I'm coming back with my first 3 points right here in 18th. I had not really another hate boner. I just thought it was time to go. Like, get up the classic Claude. It's time to go, Burnley. But yeah, the Claret's finally going down after 6-7 years in the Premier League. Yeah, I just thought it was their time had come, and it indeed did.
So far, it is 3-2 to Brandon. Not looking great here. Maybe my 17th is something better. Hopefully. My 17th was Brentford, never f***ing mind. I felt like with Brentford, a lot of people were looking at them like the next Leeds, and in some cases, they were a little bit. They did really well, performed way above their expectations. Ivan Toney is a god amongst men.
You were wondering where I put Norwich, and it was just above the relegation zone.
Oh no.
In 17th. I don't know, I wouldn't say I had major expectations for them. I just thought this time around it would be different, but clearly not. It's another 0 points as we move on to 16th, which is where I had Brentford. Me and Max kind of had Brentford in similar spots, but getting no points as a result of it because they ended up overperforming, and I ended up in 13th.
My 16th was Burnley, which I think that's a point.
No, it's
no,
not.
It's not. No, it's not.
It's 2 places off.
Yeah, my bad.
Man,
My bad.
trying
My
to
bad.
scrap
My
any
bad.
points he can get. Trying to give himself a quarter point. Like, oh, if it was only the first half of the season.
Yeah, so with Burnley, I just thought the dark arts. It always happens every single season. There's no key players or anything. It's just Brexit football, and it just stays up every single year. But this time around, they didn't. And it even looked like they were going to stay up with like 3 matches remaining, but they just fell apart, and Everton started getting more points. Leeds did the same thing. So yeah, unfortunate for Burnley, and unfortunate for me, because I don't get points there.
I had a little bit more faith in them than Max did. Also, had no idea that they were going to get taken over by the Saudi government. It is the Magpies. Newcastle had them 15th, and they ended up having a really good end to the season. They were battling relegation towards the first half, as Max touched on earlier, and they ended up in 11th. So definitely took us by surprise. A little bit of a surprise package towards the end of the season, and the Geordies definitely have something to look forward to next season, hoping for some European football.
So my 15th was Southampton, which is right on the money.
No
let's
way.
go. I don't really have anything to add here besides the fact that, you know, they have James Ward-Prowse, free kick specialist. Armando Broja was pretty good. Livramento had a pretty good start to the season. Although Southampton at the end of the season had some really, really poor form. So it's going to be interesting to see how they do into next season. But that's 2 points, baby.
This one's going to hit a bit close to home because I'm just firing blanks all over the board. It's 14th place. My prediction was the old Seagulls, Brighton, another team that just ended up having a really decent season out of nowhere and kind of crept up into the top half of the table. They finished in 9th. I had them in 14th. That's another 0 points.
My 14th was also Brighton. So, I mean, that's tough.
Great minds think alike, brother.
In this case, it's not great, though.
This is probably the closest so far I've come to a point, so I just wanted to, you know, vent my frustrations here, because in 13th, I had Southampton. They finished 15th. It was close at the end of the day. Another 0 points for your boy, and I'm just causing so much mayhem on the scoreboard right now.
My 13th is Crystal Palace. I had more hope in Crystal Palace than Brandon did. I knew, looking at the transfer business that Crystal Palace had made during that summer window, that something was cooking up. Even if Patrick Vieira didn't really have the greatest of runs with Nice prior to his Palace appointment, I still had hope for this team. So my 12th place was Everton. So yeah, I'm not getting any points from there.
Next up in 12th for me was Wolves, and again, I am 1 place away of even just getting 1 point. I'll take 1 at this rate because I'm not going to get some for a while. They ended up in 10th. I mean, in and around that 9th to 14th area is where teams are going to jumble around the most. Clearly, they've done a lot of shuffling around recently, and it hasn't helped my predictions, hasn't helped me look like a football guru whatsoever. With 11th, we're sneaking into the top half of the table, and a team which I thought was going to not crumble, but just underperform from their Europa League pressure was West Ham in 11th, and they also made it pretty far into the Europa League. It didn't really seem to struggle them, and they just maintained the same team, added even better players, and ended up finishing in 7th, and I had them 4 places below, so clearly didn't have faith in David Moyes and the boys.
So my 11th place was actually Wolves. So I get a point again. Let's go. Let's go.
When's the pain gonna end, bro?
I'd like to give a massive shout out to Wolves for collapsing throughout the second half of the season because they looked pretty good. In the first half, Jose Sa was making plenty of stops, easily one of the best keepers of the season. So 10th place, I predicted Aston Villa. I didn't really see them finishing in a European spot, especially with losing Jack Grealish. Maybe next year, I did say that also in the predictions video, we see them in a European spot.
Then moving swiftly into my top 10, had a team that was nowhere near it, well off the pace throughout the entire year. Or not really the entire year, but ended up sacking the coach. Bielsa left Leeds, a bit of second season syndrome, if you will, and they ended up on the last day surviving, which provided for some pretty epic away day scenes. But Leeds United, for me, I had them in 10th, considering the season they had, pretty much struggling in the relegation zone the entire year. I was well off the pace here. 0 points. Terrible stuff. 7 places off. This is another one, bro. I'm copping stray L's everywhere right now, because in 9th, I had another team fighting relegation. Clearly, I'm not one for these prediction videos, but it is Everton that ended up finishing in 16 towards the end. They had 2 wins in 5 that ended up keeping them in the top flight, and they celebrated like they won the World Cup. They celebrated like they won the Champions League. Sorry, Everton can't win the World Cup. Neither can Italy this year. Anyway.
So, my 9th place was West Ham.
Oh, yes, he doesn't get points.
So West Ham the previous season finished 6th. I didn't really have as much hope for them. I thought this was kind of like a one-season wonder type deal. I didn't think they were going to fall off a cliff, but I didn't think they were going to do as well. So I placed them in 9th. So my 8th place was Arsenal. That one,
Hey!
I'm very glad I was proven wrong.
The boys!
For me, this looked like a team that was going to finish 8th, having seen the first 3 matches. It just didn't look like anything changed, but I don't know, things just blossomed. We saw Arteta Ball actually in action, and, Bukayo Saka, brilliant player. Emile Smith-Rowe, Croydon De Bruyne. I mean, just the entire team, the whole squad are just playing like a team, and it's why they've managed to place 5th, even though they don't really exactly look like a top 5 team. But that is 0 points, so that's now.
Oh, you done? Yeah, I actually forgot we kind of did this prediction towards the end of the transfer window, which meant like there were a couple games played already. So we had like a kind of feel for how these teams started off the season. And in that case, Arsenal weren't looking too good, but they did end up coming back. And in 8th, I had the boys Aston Villa, which we touched on earlier, and the player we found out mid-recording the video that they actually confirmed lost Grealish in real time, and I still put them in 8th because I had so much hope for the villains, but they just ended up, I don't know, just getting complacent and teetering off towards the bottom end of the table. So you guessed it, it's another 0 points.
Conference League, baby. 7th, I went with, oh boy, Leeds United. Yeah, Leeds definitely went through a little bit of second season syndrome. They conceded like 60 goals under Bielsa, and to be fair to them, there was COVID issues and injuries, all that kind of stuff. Also, that goes back to their transfer business. They didn't really do much besides, I think, Junior Firpo and maybe a couple players are missing.
I just want to preface there, just a little fun fact. They're the 2nd worst defense in the league, only to the mighty Norwich City.
And they still stayed up, which is crazy.
I don't even need to say it anymore. It's another 0 points here, but it's Max's favourite team. I put him in 7th. It's the mighty Tottenham Hotspurs. Ended up coming through, finishing 4th, clinching the Champions League spot, and just denying Arsenal the chance to get back into the Champions League for the first time in however many years. They have Antonio Conte now, and if I knew that before the season, I would have definitely had them a few places higher in the table. Kind of stole United's manager. They were going for Conte as well. Tottenham ended up with him, and it's paid in dividends, getting the best out of Son, Kane, and the rest of the gang. And yeah, we're going to see them back in the Champions League next season.
Woohoo! So my 6th was Tottenham. I mean, you pretty much said everything there. I think just like with Nuno, we didn't really know where this team was going to place. We just knew it was going to be somewhere in like the 5th to 7th range. But Antonio Conte just jumping in, it changed everything for the worst. Tottenham finishing 4th. My will to live down the drain.
Now, alright, I can finally say I have something on the board, because in 6th, I was 1 place off with this one, but I had a little bit more hope than Max. I got Arsenal in 6th. The mighty Gooners, the form towards the end of the season was really, really good. Like, I was proper scared about Arsenal, but then, Arsenal do what Arsenal do. The easiest fixtures they had, they ended up bottling. So, just missing out on European football on the final day, and finishing in 5th. I had them in 6th, and that means 1 precious point for your boy.
Now it is 6-4. Incredible.
Oh, the comeback.
Incredible.
Comeback season, baby. Woo! Oh, this one's bad. Yeah, I don't know What were we smoking this day, bro? Like,
I don't even know.
what was going on? 5th place, I got the Flying Foxes. I kind of had them in the same bracket as West Ham, or I should have, because I thought they were going to struggle under the European pressure, but I completely missed that they also had Conference League football. They also had Europa League, and they went down to Conference. It just complicated their season even more. Brendan Rodgers wasn't really firing too much, couldn't get the boys going, and they ended up in 8th, just missing out by 4 points to get that precious Conference League, and they'll have no European football to worry about next year.
My 5th place was also Leicester City, and I specifically remember actually rating Çağlar Söyüncü in that predictions video. Grave mistake. Also, Wesley Fofana wasn't injured when we made that video, which made me think that maybe Leicester City could actually climb up to 5th.
I think Jamie Vardy's getting a bit too old.
No, Jamie Vardy's not even that bad. He still scored 10 plus goals this season. It just kind of was like under the rug. No one noticed it. Now, Brandon, it is time for the Champions League positions. And let me tell you, I know for a fact this is not starting out well, because in 4th place, I'm pretty sure, is Manchester United. I had hope for this team.
Oh, no.
This was also before Ronaldo joined Manchester United. For me, I thought that Manchester United were going to build upon their 2nd place finish from last season. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, it seemed like he had a system going and it was working. And then Ronaldo joined, and it just felt like everything collapsed. I think like one of the funniest stats is that Manchester United finished 6th with a 0 goal difference.
Alright, you predicted United in 4th, and I'll get to my 4th place right about now. It is Chelsea, who ended up in 3rd, so I do get a point there. The Blues did finish on 74 points, came through, top 4 was secured with like 5-6 weeks to go. They were never really in doubt. Thomas Tuchel, despite all the dramas, getting knocked out pretty early on in the Champions League quarterfinals. He also did end up losing 2 cup finals, the FA Cup, Carabao Cup, so it wasn't really a failure of a season. They could have ended up with silverware, but the Mason Mount Wembley curse continues, and the Blues go empty-handed for another season, but that means 1 point on the board for your boy.
So 3rd place, I got Chelsea, so that's 2 points on the money. Let's go, baby. I'm pretty sure the rest of this list I have on the money, so that's good to see. I didn't see them as a title contending team, because I mean Liverpool and Man City are just on a completely different level, so that's why I put them 3rd. I think they're the best out of the rest of the Premier League teams. What was your 3rd? Let the people know, Brandon. Let the people know.
Yeah, okay. Well, on paper, you know, I had well, on paper, yeah, I had us in 3rd, United, but there was always this sense of me that was like, this is gonna work out. This is gonna end up how we think it is. There was also a lot of other off-field drama going on, like there always is every season with United. Ole got sacked, and it was kind of a write-off. As soon as they got Ragnick in, they just gave up on the season and was like, yeah, getting a caretaker in, we're focusing on next season. And it was only like December. The whole team kind of didn't really gel. Martial got sold. Rashford had an off season. Starting games with Fred and McTominay, like Maguire. How can we forget Harry Maguire? Like, there's just so many points. And you've already seen, like, there's been about 3 players leave. Lingard, Pogba, Mata. They won't be there next season. And it's just going to be a massive clear out, a massive rebuild, if you will. But top 2 now. I think we both have the exact spot on. Yeah, so we might as well just reveal it both. Liverpool runners up, Manchester City on the last day. Ilkay Gundogan, thank you so much for not letting Liverpool win the league.
I mean, you don't really win in this case. They're both your rivals.
Yeah, it's a lesser of 2 evils here, but, you know, I can't have Liverpool winning. No, I know more Liverpool fans, so it's going to affect me more. I honestly don't know any Manchester City fans, so it's good. But Liverpool, they're never going to shut up about it. They're the most annoying fan base, probably. And especially because I know multiple Liverpool fans.
This was expected from the very beginning. Liverpool or Manchester City, and I knew Manchester City just had just a little more quality to get to first place. There was a moment in time where Man City were quite literally like running away with the league, and then they just choked a couple matches, and we just had this insane battle.
We'll have like it's like a halftime break, like Eurovision. They got to calculate the votes, all right? Calculate the points, Max.
So, Brandon, you got...
What did I get? Did I get double digits? I would have got double digits. No.
9 points.
Oh, 1 away.
And yours truly, 12 points. So I win the predictions. I don't think I should really be proud of these predictions, but I do win them. So those are Premier League predictions. We're going to probably do another one sometime in August. Brandon is back after like 7 months. So be sure to go to his channel, give him some support, subscribe to his channel, all that kind of stuff.
It's been a pleasure coming on the inaugural Premier League predictions for Max's channel. We'll try to be back next year for the sequel and see if I can get some revenge and get the series back to 1-1.
Of course, a massive shout out to all our patrons, including Jason TD,
Janos Balas. I wanted to say that forever. Go, keep going.
Millie Away 009,
Alex Rod,
Olympium,
Big Man Antonio,
Daniel Ortiz,
Dark Wolf 476,
Edgar AS,
Francisco Hernandez,
Jax 206,
Joseph Bonfante. That's another one I wanted to say.
Nguyen Din Min Tang,
The one and the only, the Motor Drive.
shout out Matthew, Tomicus,
Victor the Inflictor,
Ariel El Flor,
Chris Damasceno,
Declan Malloy,
Emmett Shea,
Lewis,
MX Weeb,
Piano,
President Pulisic, Captain America,
Tom Little.
and last but not least, Unbroken Persona.
If you'd like to join the Patreon, there'll be a link down below and up in the annotations. You can follow my Twitter if you want, follow my Instagram if you like, follow my TikTok, trying to get to 9,000 there. And of course, you can follow my inactive Twitch, which I'll probably stream some stuff with Brandon at some point. But until then, I'll see you guys.
No, I was just gonna say the man flu's going around in Sydney. So
The man flu?
yeah, like everyone now it's not COVID anymore. It's f***ing flu. It's flu season, bro. But I haven't got any flu symptoms. I just got like cold, but I'm fine. Like
But what the f*** is the man flu?